The reading from the Sherlock Holmes edition here of Mysteries. It's some classics and whatnot I picked up from the bookstore. So let's go ahead and look in the page. Let's just go into the chapter. Let's go here and just go back searching. The Greek Interpreter. Okay, here he goes. During my long and intimate acquaintance with Mr. Sherlock Holmes, I've never heard him refer to his relations, and hardly ever to his known early life. The reticent upon his part had increased to somewhat inhumane effect which he produced upon me, until sometimes I found myself regarding him as an isolated phenomenon, a brain without a heart, as deficient in human sympathy as he was preeminent in intelligence. His aversion to women and his disinclination to form new friendships were both typical and unemotional character of his unemotional character, not more than his complete suppression of every reference to his own people. I had come to believe that he was an orphan with no relatives living, but one day, to my great surprise, he began talking to me about his brother. It was after tea on a summer evening, and a conversation which had roamed in the desultory, spasmodic fashion from golf clubs that causes the changes of obliquity of the eclectic came around, at least to the question of atavism. I don't know what that means. Atavism. To hereditary aptitudes, a point under discussion was how far any singular gift in an individual was due to his ancestry and how far to his own early training. And it says in quotations here, it says, "In your own case, I said, from all that you have told me, it seems obvious that your faculty of observation and a peculiar facility for deduction are due to your own systemic training." In quotations, it says, "To some extent," he answered thoughtfully, "my ancestry were the county esquires, who appear to have led much of the same life as is natural to their class. But nonetheless, my grandmother, who was the sister of Vernet, a French artist, the art in the blood is liable to take the strangest forms." In quotations, it says, "But how do you know that it is hereditary?" There's a question. And in quotations, it says, "Because my brother Mycroft possesses it in a larger degree than I do." It says, "This was news to me indeed. If there was another man with such singular powers in England, how would that neither police nor public had heard of him?" I put the question with a hint that was in my companion's modesty, which made him acknowledge his brother at his superiority. Holmes laughed at my suggestion. In quotations, "My dear Watson," he said, quotations, it says, "I cannot agree with those who rank modesty among the virtues, though to logicians, all things should be seen exactly as they are. To underestimate oneself is to as much a departure from the truth as to exaggerate one's own powers. When I say, therefore, that Mycroft has better powers of observation than I do, you may take it that I am speaking the exact literal truth." That's from Sherlock Holmes.